Now, I would like to introduce our final session of the day, I Am Visible, with Florenza Lee. Florenza is a poet, author, motivational speaker, teacher, narrative coach, mentor, and radio talk show host. Her children's books inspire, motivate, transform, as well as entertain. Her books include Diversity, Mindfulness, Learning to Say No to Negative Influences, and life applications of spiritual truths. As a radio talk show host, she asks the question, what's your story? Believing we all have them and share them for God's glory. Florenza's workshops teach the power to fuel one's faith with their fears, building a life of purpose, daring to dream, and having the ability to find love after hardship. Thank you again. And please welcome Florenza Lee.
Hello, everyone. This is such an honor and a privilege to be with you. I am just so excited to share a few moments with you. But before we do, I want you to understand that this voice is the result of me packing up and relocating back to Ohio. And I got into a fight with pollen, and apparently the pollen is winning. So I need someone to get on my team and get off of pollen's team. I wanted to share just a few moments with you and talk about what happens when we feel invisible. I do want to caveat this by saying I myself am not a veteran. My husband served 31 years, actually over 31 years, active duty Army. And he says that I was the best household good item he ever packed. So I think that's a compliment. So I want to motivate you, encourage you to strengthen your resolve for those who are transitioning or have already transitioned for a while, and you're in that position that you're starting to recognize your purpose, you're starting to recognize your calling, you're starting to recognize that thing that you want to do in your civilian world. When you were in uniform, things were a bit simpler. I know that I watched my husband go where he was told to go, stay for as long as he was told to stay, and leave when he was told to leave. I vividly remember his first sergeant telling him when he was in AIT that had the Army wanted him to have a wife, you all can finish that sentence, I know, they would have what? Issued him one. I want you to know that life has issued you a purpose, a calling, a mandate to plant the seeds that were given to you and produce a harvest. When we talk about being invisible, oftentimes that has a negative connotation. We feel like that to be invisible means that we are not being placed in a spotlight that perhaps we feel we should have been, or that we've been made to shrink back and be less than, or that we've been shoved in a corner and are being ignored. But I want you to just draw a visual image, if you will, for the process of a butterfly. And initially I was going to talk about a seed, but I really sense a shift to talk about that butterfly. While you were active duty, you were that caterpillar, if you will. You had all that you needed to do all that you were required to do, and you did it well. I heard someone say earlier, talking about the power of being a female veteran. There's even something more powerful, and that's being that female who's active duty, stepping into that role and doing it successfully. Oftentimes, as women, we have to do more with less, and still sometimes aren't even viewed as being equal. And I understand that sense of feeling like, when is enough going to be enough? And so as you were in uniform and you were that caterpillar and you were going about those functions, you did it superiorly, you did it spectacularly, you did it with excellence. And as you transition into the civilian world, perhaps you're feeling like you are inside that cocoon. Maybe you feel like those things that made sense to you just months ago or even years ago now aren't there. That sense of purpose may not really be there. That sense of acceptance may not feel like it's there. But I want you to know that there's a beautiful thing taking place in the process of being in that cocoon. Everything that you once knew, it becomes what you use. It's nothing wasted in the cocoon. And that's a beautiful thing. Maybe there were some hardships that you endured, or there were some difficulties that you found yourself in that at the time you couldn't see how that would add any value. And by no means am I saying that we have to go through struggles in order to have value. But what I am saying is if we did go through a struggle, there is a value that we can find in it. In almost every storm, there is a rainbow. And when we're in that cocoon and we're invisible, maybe the work that we're doing isn't visible even to those that are closest to us. That transformation that we're going through, maybe others don't see it. Those lessons that we're learning and applying, perhaps not everyone will be able to benefit from it, but we will. Because it's in that state of being invisible that we are becoming powerful. Life as we knew it prior to the cocoon will still have a bearing on us, but we will no longer even resemble it. When that butterfly emerges and it goes through the struggle of breaking out, wow, we thought that there was a struggle when we were in the caterpillar phase, never even knowing that when we were in the cocoon or the chrysalis, as I was informed by the butterfly enthusiast. So before you hit me up and tell me that I had that incorrectly, I remembered. While we're in that process of being invisible, transformation is taking place. And when we do emerge, we're going to emerge beautiful. We're going to emerge stronger. The beautiful thing about the butterfly is its perspective changes. Maybe when we were in our caterpillar phase and we were going through life, our vision may have only been this high. Our perspective of things was only this high. Maybe we went by a blade of grass and it seemed like it was insurmountable in our cocoon, in our caterpillar phase. But as we transform and we're able to soar from a height that we never dreamed possible, we can see things so clearly. We can see things so beautifully. We can see things from a higher perspective. And I want you to know that as you are going through your transformation, there is something amazing on the other side. My hope for you is that those who are walking with you today will be able to experience that life that you'll have at that higher perspective. But maybe their role in your life was to only go so far. And we have to be bold enough as women to know when a person is with us for our journey to our destination or for our journey to a certain stop. I'm thinking about the time that I transitioned from being that employer to being an entrepreneur. And you guys can see there it is, some of my book babies behind me. When I was first given this gift of writing, I shared the dream with my husband. And his question to me was, why you? And maybe there's someone right now that person that's walked with you is asking you, why you? Why should you be the one to do this thing, whatever that dream is in your heart to do? I want to challenge you. Flip that around. And I say, why not you? Who else but you should be the one to see that dream come to fruition? Who else but you have gone through the process of birthing that vision and that dream? Who else but you should be the one to see it from a higher perspective? So as you're going through your transformation, as you're going through your journey, there are going to be some things perhaps that you come up against that will cause fear. And when that fear comes, I want you to press in. We aren't from a breed that runs. I know that I'm not. I know that you would not have served in uniform if you had been. There was a higher calling that spoke to your heart, that took you from your comfort zone of being at home to step into a world that was totally foreign to you. And you did it with excellence. And I want that same zeal, that same determination, that same wherewithal to drive you into this next chapter. So why not you? When it's quiet, don't use that as an opportunity to create more noise. I know I did. I was looking for things to fill that void until I realized that those were the hours, the days, the weeks, the months even, where I was preparing my seed to be born. As women, we understand physically, even if we've never given birth, we understand the process that it takes for a body to bring forth life. That same process is true when we're talking about our dreams, our goals, our ambitions, our callings in life. They go through that same process of being conceived, of finding a safe place to be, of growing, of being nurtured, of being protected, of being cared for. And then when our gift, that child is able to sustain life outside of our womb, it's born. Now, sometimes that dream may be born and it still needs help. And that's okay. Look to your right, look to your left, or when we're off this training, this moment of being together, look to your phone and look at the last 5 numbers you've dialed. Those are the individuals who will walk with you until you're able to stand on your own. Maybe some of you just came out the womb ready to eat steak and run a marathon. I applaud you. I wish that was my gift. It's not. But if that is your gift, look for someone that you're able to carry along. We've all seen those amazing videos of times in which there was a race or a marathon and someone slipped and fell. And perhaps that person who was in the first place space stopped what they were doing to go back and assist the one who had fallen. So I challenge you, if you've made it to your finish line and you're enjoying the ticker tape parade and you're holding up your trophy, pause for just a moment and look to your right or left and see if you have a sister who maybe is struggling in her run and perhaps could use something that you have. It's okay for us to help one another. That's what makes us stronger. A 3-strand cord is far superior than a 1-strand. And so I want to motivate you, encourage you. Man, I've got my pom-poms out for you. I am rooting for you for every dream that you have, that you will see it come to life. I look forward to hearing from you all this time next year, hearing the amazing stories of what it is that was born and birthed in you during this session of us being together. And hopefully next year, I will be right there with you face to face, and I will have my regular voice back. And so I don't know the protocol for ending. So if you would like to follow me, Florenza Denise Lee, pretty much everywhere on social media, florenza.org. I'm always available to chat and to discuss ways of how I may assist you in your purpose. One of the things I don't know if it was mentioned, that I am a narrative coach. I'm also an advocate for our nation's veterans. I do that. That's my 9 to 5. And so I am very much engaged in the life of our veterans. I say that I love veterans so much that I sleep with one. He told me I had to stop saying that, but he's not listening now. So please don't tell him that I said that. So I thank you so much. I don't know if there's going to be questions or an opportunity to hear from you. And so I pass it on to our sponsors or to our host. Thank you so much for this opportunity.